How to get motivated whenever you want. Motivation is often seen as the key driver of action and achievement. It's that elusive force that propels us towards our goals, making tasks feel effortless and progress seem inevitable. But for many of us, motivation can be frustratingly inconsistent. Some days we wake up ready to conquer the world, while on others, even the simplest tasks feel insurmountable. This unpredictability can leave us feeling powerless, waiting for motivation to strike like lightning. But what if there was a way to generate motivation on demand? What if you could tap into a reliable source of inspiration and drive, regardless of your initial emotional state? In this article, we'll explore the concept of the motivation sequence and how you can use it to kickstart your motivation whenever you need it. Understanding motivation. Before we dive into the strategy for generating motivation, let's first understand what motivation is and how it typically works. Motivation is the internal drive that pushes us to take action. It's influenced by various factors, including personal goals and aspirations, external pressures and expectations, emotional states, past experiences and beliefs, environmental factors. Traditionally, we think of motivation as a prerequisite for action. We believe we need to feel motivated before we can start working towards our goals. This leads to a common pitfall, waiting for motivation to strike before taking action. The traditional view, a linear sequence. Most people view the process of getting things done as a linear sequence. Inspiration, motivation, action. In this model, inspiration comes first, often from external sources or emotional triggers. This inspiration generates motivation, an internal drive to act. Finally, this motivation leads to action, the actual doing of tasks or pursuit of goals. While this sequence can certainly occur, relying on it exclusively can be problematic. It leaves us at the mercy of external factors and fleeting emotional states, waiting for the perfect alignment of inspiration and motivation before we can make progress. The motivation sequence, a revolutionary perspective. The key to understanding how to generate motivation on demand lies in recognizing that the traditional linear sequence is incomplete. In reality, motivation operates as a loop, not a straight line. Here's the full motivation sequence. Inspiration, motivation, action, inspiration, motivation, action, and so on. This cyclical nature of motivation reveals a powerful truth. Action isn't just the result of motivation, it's also a source of motivation. Breaking down the motivation sequence. Let's examine each component of this sequence. Inspiration. This can come from various sources such as fear of negative consequences, e.g., cleaning the house before guests arrive. Desire to impress or prove someone wrong. Emotional responses to external stimuli, like seeing a motivational video or a post from an ex on social media. Personal goals and aspirations. Motivation, the internal drive generated by inspiration. It's the feeling of being ready and willing to take action. Action, the actual doing of tasks or pursuit of goals. This is where many people get stuck, waiting for enough motivation to begin. Inspiration, again, here's the key insight. Taking action itself can generate new inspiration. Completing a task, no matter how small, can create positive emotions and a sense of accomplishment. Motivation, again, this new inspiration leads to fresh motivation, creating a self-sustaining cycle. Harnessing the power of the motivation sequence. Understanding this cyclical nature of motivation opens up new possibilities for generating drive and enthusiasm on demand. Here's how you can use this knowledge to your advantage. 1. Start with action. Instead of waiting for motivation to strike, begin with action. Choose a small, manageable task that requires minimal effort or inspiration to complete. This could be making your bed, taking a short walk, cleaning one small area of your living space, writing for just 5 minutes. The key is to choose something so small and easy that you can do it even when you're feeling completely unmotivated. 2. Recognize the inspiration. After completing this small action, take a moment to acknowledge what you've done. Notice how you feel about having accomplished something, no matter how minor. This feeling of accomplishment is a form of inspiration. 3. Let motivation build. Allow the positive feelings from your small accomplishment to fuel your motivation. You might find yourself thinking, well, since I've already done X, I might as well do Y as well. 4. Take larger action. Use this newfound motivation to tackle a slightly larger task or to continue working on your initial task for a longer period. 5. Repeat the cycle. As you complete more actions, you'll generate more inspiration and motivation, creating a self-reinforcing cycle of productivity. Practical tips for implementing the motivation sequence. Create a list of small, easy tasks. Have a ready-made list of simple actions you can take when you're feeling unmotivated. These should be tasks that require minimal effort but still provide a sense of accomplishment. Set ridiculously small goals. If even small tasks feel overwhelming, break them down further. Instead of clean the kitchen, try put one dish in the dishwasher. Use the 2-minute rule. If a task will take less than 2 minutes to complete, do it immediately. This helps build momentum and prevents small tasks from piling up. Celebrate small wins. Acknowledge and appreciate every action you take, no matter how minor it might seem. This reinforces the positive feelings that fuel the motivation sequence. Focus on starting, not finishing. Don't worry about completing large tasks in one go. Just focus on starting and doing a little bit. Often, you'll find yourself naturally wanting to continue once you've begun. Create environmental triggers. Set up your environment to encourage action. For example, lay out your workout clothes the night before, or keep a book you want to read in a prominent place. Use the 5-minute rule. Commit to working on a task for just 5 minutes. Often, you'll find that once you start, you want to continue beyond the 5-minute mark. Overcoming common obstacles. Even with this understanding of the motivation sequence, you might encounter some challenges. Procrastination. Remember, the key is to take any action, no matter how small. Don't wait for the right moment or until you feel fully ready. Perfectionism. Let go of the need for perfect conditions or outcomes. The goal is progress, not perfection. Overwhelm. If you're feeling overwhelmed by large tasks, focus on breaking them down into the smallest possible actions. Negative self-talk. Be mindful of self-defeating thoughts. Replace "I don't feel like it" with "I'll just do one small thing and see how I feel after that." Lack of clarity. If you're unsure what action to take, spend a few minutes clarifying your goals and identifying the next smallest step. Conclusion. Becoming your own motivation source. By understanding and leveraging the motivation sequence, you can become your own source of motivation. You no longer need to wait for inspiration to strike or for the perfect conditions to align. Instead, you can generate motivation on demand by taking small, manageable actions and allowing the natural cycle of the motivation sequence to build momentum. Remember, motivation doesn't always precede action. Often, it's the result of action. So the next time you're feeling stuck or unmotivated, don't wait for motivation to find you. Take a small action, any action, and let the motivation sequence work its magic. With practice, you'll find that you can generate motivation whenever you want, empowering you to make consistent progress towards your goals, regardless of your initial emotional state.